This is a stimulus update and daily news report. Got some important update to share with you. We'll go over this stimulus update. Researchers find that targeted stimulus payments would benefit us all. So is there going to be that? And then also Anchor Direct Relief Payment Program is going to pay out up to $1,500. Bernie Sanders talking about corporate greed in the pharmaceutical industry, also saying how Republicans don't have a plan to fix the economy. But that's not the case because I'll play you a video clip of a Republican talking about a three-step plan to fix the economy and help out inflation. You don't want to miss that, and I'll give you some other important updates as well. Hope you're having a wonderful Wednesday. If you appreciate the fact-based, fast-paced updates, hit the like button down below and subscribe to the channel for more daily, straight-to-the-point updates on stimulus and other important daily updates. Let's get into it. So stimulus update, researchers find that targeted stimulus payments would benefit us all. So basically what's saying here, research has long shown that helping the poorest among us with regular stimulus payments nearly pays for itself with through increased GDP, and stimulus payments were studied long before the COVID-19 pandemic. So basically saying here that there needs to be more stimulus, but targeted to the most poor people in our country. So this includes Social Security, SSI, veterans, RRB, a lot of those fixed income groups who are struggling the most can help or could benefit from stimulus checks. So even before COVID-19, there was talk of regular targeted stimulus payments. MIT PhD students Joel Flynn and John Strum found that the most effective way to spur the economy while helping those who need it is to provide Americans with regular stimulus payments of $2,000. So basically talking about here regular payments of $2,000 checks on a regular basis. And that would help out the poor people, but also I guess it would trickle throughout the rest of the economy and help out the rest of the economy and the rest of the country. So basically what it's talking about here is that these findings are saying, or a real life example of this is in Denmark, found that households with $3,000 or more in their checking accounts tended to hold on to stimulus checks as they came in. So basically, saying that households should have at least $3,000 in the bank, and if more stimulus checks were given, then they could be used in different ways. And on the other hand, households with $500 or less in their checking account spent nearly half of their first stimulus within 10 days. So basically, what it's talking about here is that stimulus checks will help out Americans and that they should be given out to the most poor people. Let me know if you agree with that, disagree. Let me know your thoughts. Speaking of stimulus, exact date, Americans must apply for Anchor Direct Relief Payment worth up to $1,500 thanks to $2 billion pot. So thousands of homeowners and renters have weeks to apply for a direct payment worth up to $1,500. This is known as the Anchor program, funded by a New Jersey, approved by New Jersey lawmakers. So basically, if you live in New Jersey, you own a house, then you can apply for this tax rebate of up to $1,500. So it all depends. It could be up to $1,000 payments, $450 payments. So if you live in New Jersey, definitely apply for that. Now back to the $2,000 checks. Bernie Sanders presses Joe Biden on $2,000 stimulus checks, saying promises must be kept. Now, this is from a while ago, but Bernie Sanders, one of the big politicians, talking about $2,000 stimulus checks, and we've heard other calls for $2,000 checks on a regular basis. Is that going to happen? It doesn't seem like it's going to happen anytime soon. If a recession is officially announced, there could be recession stimulus checks as there were in 2001 and 2008. But a recession has not been officially announced. The definition has been changed for it. Therefore, there may not be recession stimulus checks maybe until 2023 or after the midterm elections, because Democrats are trying to sweep up a lot of things under the rug until after the midterm elections, or at least leading up to the midterm elections. But take a look at Bernie Sanders talking about other issues that affect Americans.
While we continue to pay by far the highest prices in the world for prescription drugs, 3 of the largest pharmaceutical companies in America, Pfizer, Johnson & Johnson, and AbbVie, increased their profits by 90%, 90% last year to $54 billion. Meanwhile, the CEO of Moderna recently acquired a $926 million golden parachute after his company received $2.5 billion in taxpayer dollars from the Trump administration to develop its COVID vaccine. And while 1 out of 4 Americans could not afford to pay for their prescription drugs, the CEO of Regeneron Pharmaceuticals made over $450 million in total compensation last year. While 46% of Americans either skipped or delayed the health care they need because they just could not afford it, the 6 largest health insurance companies in America last year made over $60 billion in profits. And on and on and on it goes. Americans paying more and more for basic necessities, while corporate greed is at an outrageous and unprecedented level.
What are your thoughts there? Do you agree, disagree with Bernie Sanders? Another thing Bernie Sanders is saying is Sanders opposes eliminating the debt ceiling, argues that GOP has no economic plan beyond criticism. Is that true? So what he said here is you have to increase the debt ceiling, and but you keep it, and then he says yes, yes. So keep the debt ceiling, increase it, basically running up the government's credit card, which is the debt ceiling, just putting more and more on that big credit card, getting more and more debt. Is that the way to solve America's problems, though? Take a look at the Republican 3-step plan to fix the economy and inflation.
Republicans look like a solid bet to win the House majority and possibly the Senate next month. You never know. That may be the easy part. The hard part, delivering needed change. They have to fix the nation's skittish economy and tackle inflation. How are they going to do it? According to TheHill.com, GOP focusing on a few things. Pulling back on rampant government spending. That's a great idea. Pushing harder for energy independence. That is a lovely idea. Lowering taxes. Can they pull it off, even if they only take the House? Joining me to discuss, California Republican Congressman and member of the House Judiciary Committee, Darrell Issa is back. Welcome back, Congressman.
Well, thanks for having me on. And you know, in the last segment, I can't resist the fact that you said every presidential candidate should have his head examined. I couldn't agree with you more, but it could be for other reasons.
Yeah, anyone who wants to be that powerful has to have a screw loose.
Exactly. But on to the question of inflation, you know, one of the great lessons, not of a little bit of history, but of all of history, is that the human being hasn't become one bit more efficient over 10,000 years. What we've done is we've learned to harness power, whether it's machinery or the steam engine or electric motor. Ultimately, the only way that we can be more efficient and thus be wealthier per capita is in fact to use energy efficiently and effectively. And those are the policies that we're going to turn back. Obviously, we'd like to lower taxes. We've got to lower government spending in order to make that happen. But when you really look at it, the problem now, the so-called broken supply chain, is really more about the fact that fuel prices have gone up, the availability of the kind of innovations that come with harnessing energy are going down. I'll just give you an example of my home state. In California, the cost of electricity is just over double what it is in Virginia. And then you wonder why people are moving from California to states where, if you're running an injection molding machine or you're doing anything that uses electricity, it's just a lot smarter to be in a state where it costs half as much, and thus you are more efficient.
Yeah, and especially, you know, states that have no state income tax. Those are the most attractive places now. But back to the Republican agenda, I don't put it past Republicans to screw this up. And, you know, it's like, to Nancy Pelosi's point, are we not hearing enough of a sound plan? And will they listen to people like you who've been there, done that, left, and come back?
Well, you know, Kennedy, there are two things that I'll tell to the young members. On one hand, don't overreach. Get what you can get, but make sure you get something on this president. And obviously, energy policy reversal is critical if we're going to empower it. The other thing is some moderation, some real moderation in spending, which mostly is stop the big special giveaways, which dramatically reduces the amount of inflation we're getting at government expense. At the same time, look, I'm going to tell them, don't be talking about shutting down the government and so on. Don't overreact. Give the president an offer he doesn't want but has to take, and keep the government operating. But for once, operate it like it was your money, not somebody else's money. And, you know, the president's proposal, again, in the last segment, he's trying to give away other people's money to promote his choice of agenda. That isn't authorized by the Constitution and certainly not authorized by Congress. And I'm glad the courts are pushing back on it, because otherwise that money would be gone and we'd be trying to figure out how to make up for $1 trillion hole. And by the way, the next generation that wants education without paying for it is right behind them.
Absolutely.
What are your thoughts on that? Now, on this channel, I like to give you the balanced point of view. Personally, I'm an independent, so I like to see the Republican, the Democrat side. Now that you've kind of sort of seen both sides, what are your thoughts there? Do you agree with one side over another? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. I'm really curious what you think, as well as the community, I'm sure, is curious as well. So let me know what you think about that. And that is all the news that I have for you today to hopefully brighten your day a bit. Here's my daughter Bella's tip of the day.
Oh, hi guys, I didn't see you there. Guys, can I tell you tip of the day, because you know, I'm still in South Carolina. I know it looks like in a different place, but let's get over it. Can I tell you the thing that you should really, really actually do when someone's hurt or you're hurt? You should like really do something really good and help them out, because they're hurt. You can't let a person hurt. Stay there. I know you guys would do such a great thing, even better than that. Like help them up or something. I bet you can too. So that's all the advice that I wanted to give to you today. And also, this is my sister Kalaya. Say hi. Hi. Bye.
Thank you so much for watching. Appreciate all of your support. So yeah, today, Wednesday, big day, but made it through, and or it's gonna be, you know, another day, another great day. Ankle's still kind of hurting, but anyways, hopefully you have a great rest of your day. Want to check out any of my other videos on my other channels, click right up here, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care, be safe. Thank you for watching.